temple of the real.
High fire gasolina, Medea medicina. High fire gasoline, and Satan come to see ya. High fire gasolina, Medea medicina. High fire gasoline, and Satan come to see ya. Rolling with a purple slither, glowing chalice of dragon venom. Rock the star of Ishtar, hot purple bacchanalia. Hit you with a ticket, heads nodding. Orphic hymns to the moon, the language of the birds. Death of a pure, wild stallion crew. Rolling in the main, magic gin, 60 pound of green, diamond shining. I'm in this thing, conch don't ring, bling and bling, hot purpley, venomous cream, sail the seven seas. Hot fire, gasoline, dance with the muse. Athena, Medea, flying in your dreamer. Doom gatekeeper, blaze the ganja greener. Greek fire keeper, Om Sima Sima. Medua riding with me, my girl's with it. Dragon poison, every rose has its thorn. White snake, Orpheus. High fire gasolina, Medea medicina. High fire gasoline, and Satan come to see ya. High fire gasolina, Medea medicina. High fire gasoline, and Satan come to see ya.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon. This is the bed of the muse, and what I want to do tonight is to give you a little bit of the future. I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to stand right here where we are together. I'm going to share it with you because that's what you want. You want to go somewhere and you want to see something new and you want to expand. You want to have your eyes opened. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to have your eyes opened. We're going to start tonight. And by the way, thank you, Teddy Bass. Thank you, Teddy Bass. There's a couple of albums that Teddy has composed and put together and engineered for your masterful reprogramming. Yeah, definitely. It's lovely. Some nice Teddy Bass music. If you want to listen to it. Do I make any money off Teddy Bass? No, I don't. What I am here for is not to be making money. And for all of those of you who are writing in and are saying, this is fantastic that you're not doing this for money. No, stay not monetized. You see, that's the way you get around to the back door. Do you understand? It's nice. Anyway, yes, what are we doing? Teddy kicks. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Botox. Yes, everybody loves him, don't they? Don't they? I do. A couple of albums, though, associated with everything that we've been doing here at Lady Babylon. They're nice, man. They're nice. Take a look at those. Let us get to the real tonight. That's where we're going. And I know that you want that real. And all of this was just a little hoo-ha dance and show, little distraction so that we could get the machine to get us there safely. And here we are. We're going to step out into that ancient rite one more time. Now, I know people are looking at the thumbnail art and they're going, oh my God, what is this going to bring tonight? What sort of disaster does this imagery portend? Don't worry, I promise you, every time we're together, I promise you a fantastic date. And so, look, you have given me your time. Let me to honor you and give you the best of the best. Are you ready for this? There's a type, don't bring it up yet. There is a type of person who says, what Dr. Hillman says only applies to the medicine. All of this Christing talk, none of that applies. It's all strictly medical terminology. Now, I told you people from the very beginning, satanic congregation, I told you, they will take you, they will distract you, they will do things to you before you even know it. You will be violated mentally. They will tell you that the Bible doesn't have these technical terms, that this is only doctors, and they do that because they are ignorant of their own texts. The real weakness of Christianity is Christians. Yeah, the real weakness. So what we have done here at Satanic Congregation, we have taken your text and we have reasserted control. They don't belong to you anymore. You can't even read them. You can't even read your own holy books. Somebody will tell you in the future, Dr. Hillman knows the medical stuff, and gee golly, Beaver, his knowledge of the Greek is just too strong for us to wrestle with directly. But there is a difference between the medicine and the Bible. There is no Christing, they will tell you in the Bible. Chewy, get us to the place where there is Christing. Show us. What is it? It's in the Apocalypse. It's in the Apocalypse. If you want to be the closest to the Greek with this, you're going to say Apocalypse, not Revelation. Apocalypse. And what does he say? Look at that first word, sumbuleo. I counsel you. I counsel you. Who is this talking? This is the great Pantocrator. This is the great one. Shh, listen. What does he counsel? This one. Look at the last two lines, halfway through the second to last line. Kolurion en Chrisai. Do you see that second to last word on the second to last line? En Chrisai. And what do you think that's from? Show him. Give it to him. Did you people not even read your own text? No. That's the problem. The weakness, the Achilles heel of Christianity is its own ignorance. Its own ignorance. They can't beat you if you know their text better than they do. And that's the fun. You see how that works? The trade-off was I can't make any money off it. What did I get for that? I got that muse. I got that connection. Isn't that gorgeous? That's pure. That is pure incense. That's the stuff that gets you to the gods. Oh, love it. Are you ready? What is the big man telling us here in the Apocalypse? He's telling us, I want you to, in Christ, wait, before we go to the drugs. Chewy, I know you love the drug stuff. Before we go to the drugs, go back. Yeah. What is he telling you on the bottom line? I want you to, in Christ, look, tous ophthalmus. So, your eyes. I want you to Christ your eyes. And why? Why? You can go ahead and change it. Why would you want me to Christ my eyes? Big G. Why would you want me to do that? So that you may see. So that you may see. Do you know what they were doing? They were using drugs to see and hear. They were using drugs as religion. What you have by faith is not the original. What you have by faith lacks the purple. What you have by faith lacks that little kid that was with Jesus Christ when he was arrested in a public park, screaming, I am not a child trafficker. It's the same stuff that went down for Mo. It's the same stuff. It's that Bacchic blood that gets in your veins, and next thing you know, you're out with a bunch of people holding up a snake. You want to hear the voice of God? You got to follow those monists. You got to follow those monists. That virus that infects the history of the human brain. Akhenaten. You got to go with the monists and destroy everything. Right? Oh, my goodness. No, let's not. What are you people doing? If they found enjoyment in that proposal, something's wrong. Think of the Great Mother. Think of the Great Mother. Do you know what kills Nazis? The Great Mother does. Oh, Oh, isn't that lovely? Listen to the power. Listen to the power. So someone will say, hey, what this person is saying in the Greek does not apply because that's a specialty. You tell that person, you need to read your own Bible. You need to read it. You need to read it. Let's go to the next one. Look, this is now I wanted to start us. I just want you to notice, people, what kind of drugs for the people who are new, who haven't seen what kind of drugs they are, and for the people who are learning Greek at and you. Try to follow some of these words through here in the blue. Watch what happens. What is a pharmacon? It's a drug, man. It's a drug, whether healing or noxious. Right? And look, it's frequently used by to determine what kind of drugs are by the epithets that are with them. Right? What kind of, and he gives us some name. Look at the odunefata. Right? The one that is killing the pain. You need painkillers, right? You got kakapharmaka. Those are just bad drugs, baby. You got man killers here. Ooh, androphonon. That's a man killer, right? Whoa, what kind of other drugs? You got Pionian drugs. You know where you are if you got a Pionian drug? You are in the second, third, fourth, or fifth heaven. Oh, wait, what is that? How do I go there? It's a trip. It's a trip. You're going to love it. Are you ready? You thought your vacation was good. You got Thanasema, death inducers. And you got Olethrion, destroyers. Oh, God. So many different capacities to do with the drugs. Now you know why there's so many daimones and why it is that Jesus Christ, right after he gets off a boat and he's like, I heard you healed all those people that had those demons, and bring the demons. Got this little girl and she is whacked out in the eschaton. Lady touches his gown. Nobody's ever understood why it is that you can reach out and touch the Christ and be healed. Do you know how that is? Because if you got an issue of blood, he's got your drugs embedded. He's walking around with linen that's embedded with these drugs. The priestesses do it. It's how they take these things on a chronic basis. There's no fairy tale, people. It's all just anthropology and science. It's gorgeous. Well, you know that. That's why you came. Shut up, and give it to him. Go ahead. Give me the next one. I want to give him the next one. This is exciting, people. Watch what happens here. Here's that. Oh, God, that definition of pharmacon. It's okay. I knew this was going to end up this way. So I'm going to take a section of this and I'm going to blow it up for you people to see. Ready? The definition of drug in Greek. What does it have? What does it include? You see the Christ up top. You see the in Christing underneath that. And underneath that, you see the epichrysting. Right? Christon, en Christon, and epichriston. And what do? When you do that, when you use a Christ, you're doing things just like our texts are telling us. You're putting a cream into the eye. You're putting a cream into the eye. You mean they did that kind of stuff? What do you think a collyrian is? What do you think a collyrian is? How are you going to get to the third heaven for the sake of your redemption if you don't use the collyrian? Jesus Christ is the one who will give you that. Yeah. Now, if you haven't had that and you are a monist, that is an Orthodox Jewish person, a fundamentalist Christian, or a Taliban from Islam, if you're of that monist inclination, this is not going to be something you have ever done. You have no salvation. I have a message. Amen. I have a message to you all tonight. You have no salvation. Yeah, you don't know. Yes, you don't know. You got to be careful. Ignorance of the word of God will kill you. Love it. Love it. Let's go. Go to the next one. What's he doing tonight? Oh, it's gonna get somewhere that's beautiful, and I hope you like it. What else can you Christ? You can Christ. Look at the middle word, Chrisasa, right? That's a beautiful participle, right? From Rio, gorgeous. And what are you Christing here? You're Christing your arrow. You're Christing your arrow. What are you Christing? You can change it. What are you Christing it with? Look, himeroi. You're Christing it with desire. With desire. You ever Christ an arrow with desire? Do you know what you can do with that? You can have a drug that will turn somebody into a lover. We're going to see that lover tonight. You mean they had drugs for that? Yeah, they called them aphrodisiacs. Aphrodisiacs. Okay, is everybody caught up? New people who have come in and they started watching, like, oh God, I don't want to go through that whole rigmarole. Ron, I totally get you. I totally understand that. Now you're caught up. When we're talking Christ, we're talking drugs. And we're talking very specific kinds of drugs. We're talking drugs that induce fission and drugs that make you aroused. Okay. You mean salvation and sex are part of the same straight shot through history? Yeah, they are. They are. Isn't that something? It's that fruit. Opens the eyes. You're going to end up naked, right? And there you are in the garden, shouting Ewa or Eve. Life is beautiful, no? Oh, let's get it. Let's get it. Okay, give me the next one. Give me the next one. Boom. People, what else can you have Christed? I forgot this one. Excuse me. Eos in Christes. That is the injected poison. The injected poison. And then they use the word here, sting, and they're not far off because they know, the Victorians who wrote this, know that the person is being penetrated by this power that is injecting something into them. And that's what they view as the sting, and that's why they say chrio. Chrio is the word for the sting of the gadfly. People will also tell you funny things. They will tell you funny things about that. Do not believe them. Go to the evidence, people. You can always just pull out the evidence, right? That's the fun thing. Any of us can do this, right? I can do it. You can do it. We can all do it, right? Show people. And they're like, huh? But you can't argue against language, right? Okay, so here's the Christing. That's the injected poison. When that eos really hits you like Paul with his thorn in the flesh. Junkie. Paul's a junkie. All you people who have so much respect, come here, Paul. Here's your venom. Oh, yeah. You want to go to heaven, Paul? Yeah. Yeah. Sick junkies. Go to the next one. Here's the collurion. And what is the collurion? Somebody wrote to me and said, hey, how do you tell about dialectical differences? Right? Because we read that comment that said Hebrew has no dialectical differences between something that supposedly is written by Moses and something that was supposedly written, 700 years later. What? There's no dialect. You got no dialect. How do you tell that kind of stuff? Look at this word, collurion. That omicron upsilon in the middle will drop to just an upsilon, depending on where you are, what dialect you're speaking. This happens to be Ionian. Do you love that? That's how you trace that kind of stuff, through the vowels. Neil is going to talk about some vowels tonight. Love it. So do it, Neil. You better get that done. It better be good. All right. Are you ready? Collurion. What does it mean? It's a pessary. Wait, Jesus is telling me to put a pessary in my eyes? Yep. What is a pessary? Can you imagine? I was laughing with Chewy today. Chewy said something about Victorians. and Victorian speak, because Chewy reads a lot of Victorian literature, and anywho, we have to look at it through their lens in order to define some of these words. You can imagine you wouldn't say something the very same way. You'd besmirch yourself, right? Go besmirch yourself. Let's see. Pessary. What's a pessary? It's a little pill that you take and you put into one of your body's orifices. Right now, there's two that they use. On the male, you can use one. You can use the rectum, but typically these are developed for women to use vaginally for the sake of stopping conception, for the sake of abortion, for the sake of the regulation of a menstrual flow, be it too much or too little. Yes, and for the sake, finally, of STDs. Yes, they claim that certain STDs can be treated with certain plants and animal products. That's fantastic. So you make a little one of these, Coleria, and you take it, and what do you do with it? You apply it as a medicine. But look at number 2. It's also an eye salve. An eye salve, and it usually comes stamped with a physician's seal. Right. Look at number 3. It says it equals colura. Well, we'll look at that. But what are these things? They're little pills that you will prepare by heating and rubbing and then adding. Some of them are added to liquids, right? Turn it into a paste that you then apply to your eyes. To your eyes. Now, I know there are not many of you seated in the audience tonight. There are not many of you seated in the audience who will have ever applied a psychotropic substance to your eyeballs. But you can see people doing it. You can imagine somebody doing it. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to stretch to Christing, right? Christing is something Chewy, you can see them Christing. You can see what they're doing. Fantastic. Go to the next one. Boom. And what is the colura? Well, they tell us here, you're going to have to switch it. They tell us here it's the colics. Well, what's colics? Give me the next one. They're playing a Victorian game with me. What are you doing? To roll. Wait, what? To roll or loaf? Yeah, a roll. Is that a? No, it's a roll. Or a coarse bread. What? Look at number 2, because that's how I always see it. Trojiscos, rubbed and taken in wine, right? It equals a colurian. They're talking about the shape of it. It's a little cake. It comes prepared that way. You go to your drug stand. You take your doctor's. First of all, you get your doctor's prescription, right? They tell you need this. Put it in Christ. Put it in your eyes, right? And you go down to the drug stalls and you say, "Hey, Doctor So and So gave me this. What do I need?" And they'll bring up a little bit, one of these little pastilles. They'll bring up one of these little cakes for you to take. One of these little trojiscoi for you to prepare, and they'll tell you this is how you prepare it. And you will go home and you prepare it just like they told you how to do. And you will Christ that child's eyes so that you can burn off their mortality and make them more immortal. That's what you need to do. No problem. I can do this. The priest will tell you, bring these drugs to the initiation. Right? This is all contemporary with Jesus, who's walking around wearing the same drugs on his face in the Garden of Gethsemane that they're using in ritual. There is no separation. Christians will come to you and they will tell you. Orthodox Jews will come to you and they will tell you. Taliban will come to you and they will tell you. There is this wall of separation between the faithful and the unfaithful. No, there isn't. Historically, there just isn't. And that's why the two are mutually destructive, why they will try to destroy each other. Yes, there is a vaccination for the mental virus of monism. there's a vaccination for it. And it's called reality. If you can open up somebody's inner reason, because we are all children of reason, if you can open that up and show somebody, you can inoculate them against the man who was arrested in a public park with a naked boy. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. I want to show you a little bit of beauty now. Take us out. Take us out. Yep, that's good. Where were we? Yep. And here's that calyx. What is that calyx? It's the trochiskoi. We got that. We got that. Go to the next one. Boom. And here's the trochiskos. And if you think it's not something related to drugs, look at number 2. Right? It can be anything from soaps to medicine. It gives all sorts of authors there, right? Right. And he says Galen, of course. It's the standard people that nobody ever reads in classics. Galen, Soranus, Oribasius. I know it's unfortunate. Oribasius, all physicians. Right now, should we cut them out and say what the words are that they use don't apply to the Christians? No, we absolutely can't. And people are beginning to see that. And I'm telling you, there's going to be an opening of an understanding of this very point very soon. It's coming. It's already been set in motion, and it's coming. And when it happens, you will see how the Bible scholars, the rabbis, the mullahs, how far afield they have come from the original. Yeah. Yeah. We are today living in a figment of our own imagination. Yeah. Isn't that something? Let's go. It's wonderful. Hit the next one. I want out, right? Who wants out? Well, here, what did I see when I've been Christed? I see this great angel, and he's announcing in this big voice. He says, whoever is worthy to open the book. You mean they had books? No. To open up the process that is written on the scrolls. Whoever wants to do that has to release the seals. Do you want to do that tonight? Let's go release the seals. What are the seals? Tell me, please, what are the seals? Oh, God, he's going to do it again. They're drugs. Look at the seals. They're drugs. Look at number 3. Give me the next one. What are the seals? They're tablets of Lemnian medicinal earth, certified as such by bearing the impressions of the seal of the Lemnian priestess of Artemis. Do you want to know what the mark of the beast is? Do you want to know what the mark of the Theriac is? It's that Lemnian Artemis. Because you're not going to get there unless you get Christed. And you remember, don't you, who it was who invented Christing? We're going to see. Oh, God. Let's go. Next one. Boom. And this is for the seal. The seal. What else is the seal? You can talk about a seal as a pastille again. Right? Look at B. It says Pakiu Sfragida. What is that? It's the seal of Pacius. And Pacius is one of the physicians who's guaranteeing what? An eye salve. And where are they getting this? Galen. I told you, nobody reads Galen, who's a classicist anymore. Very few. Right? Salves were certified, right, by seal impressions. Okay, take it down. Does everybody see where we have landed? Now, everybody should be caught up. And with this knowledge now, we can go forward with something big. Let's look at the origin of this seal and these drug-using cults. Let's look at the origin of it. I think it's the next one. Yeah, that's it. Who is this? It's Aristophanes. Now, this is going to be a little bit hard on your ears. So I'm going to translate Aristophanes. And I know that people would, okay, it's Aristophanes. He's the Greek who's the comedian. And Greek comedy is not very much like modern English or, American or European, Canadian, Australian, any of the English-speaking countries where I can talk with about comedy with any, accuracy. You don't really see the Greek comedy coming out. It's what you would call banal. It's very banal, and it makes fun of very simple processes that would cause us all to enter into shame. Hide your shame, right? Well, comedy doesn't hide your shame. Comedy takes it off that cover, right? It lifts up that kilt and shows you exactly what's underneath it. And that's what Aristophanes is doing. And I figured that's why you'd love him and why I should bring him on our date. This is the chorus. And we're going to read this backwards. These are the lines that follow the introduction of Circe into the discussion. And we're going to read it backwards. This is the chorus. In the chorus, what does the chorus say? It says, look, I know you're Circe. You're the one who anakosan, who mixes together ta pharmaca, the drugs. I know you're the one who prepares the cocaine. It's the same root. I know you're the one who maganeusan, who is that magi. That magus, excuse me. You are that magus, right? You're performing that magic. And what else are you doing? You're molunusantus Thyrsus. What are you doing to your lovers or your companions? These are the people that she keeps captive. What do you do to them? You moluno. Give me the next, right there. What does it mean to moluno something? What does it mean to moluno something? It means to disgrace it, to stain it, to dye it, to baptize it into the defilement, the abomination, baptized. That's what she's doing to them. Let's see what that is. It may be interesting. Who knows? Back to the text. Good. She defiles those companions, right? And what is the spirit that is moving all this? It's pure joy, pure erotic joy. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to mimic the son of Laertes. Who's that? That's Odysseus. We're going to mimic Odysseus, and we're going to string that guy up by his testicles. Ton orcheon cremomen. Let's string him up by his testicles. Why would we do that? Why would we do that? So we can spread poop on his little nose like a goat, and he can say, "Mommy, mommy, I'm your little piggy." Yeah, that's what it says. Right. That's what's going to happen. We're going to do what? Chewy, did you get that? This guy's a weirdo, Aristophanes. What's he talking about? Hit me with the next one. Let's clarify. Remember, we're reading backwards. Where do we? Oh, by the way, just in case you didn't think the smear with poop was was real. Look, we're not. This is educational. Get your act together, Chewy. Listen, to be smeared with dung, that's that Victorian way of saying to spread some feces from you know where on your nose. On your nose. Look what we're doing, people. Look at number 2. We're making an abomination. Till you see that abomination of desolation sitting in the temple. It's going to have poopy spreading powers. Why, people? Anthropologically and historically, why? Seriously, poop on the nose? What's that going on? Because if you are engaged with the right, you are besmirching yourself with the seed. You're going to get poop on your nose. Yeah, it's straight up, people. It's why Aristophanes is making fun. Right? Funny. Where are you sticking your nose? Right? Okay. Let's go to the next one. It's ancient Greek comedy. Huh? Who invented this stuff? You know who invented comedy? It was the Greeks. Right? I'm sure there were Calcolithic people telling jokes. But it was the Greeks. Look at the Revelation people. Who are these people who stain themselves. Now, for the Christians who want to think that there's a distinction between their world and the pagan world, watch. They're using the words the exact same way. Who is really going to be favored with Jesus Christ when he comes back with his golden bra? It's the kiddies who haven't molunoed themselves with the ladies. Why? Why? Because the stain is part of the rite. And that stain is coming from the cup of her porneia. She is borne up by the theriac, by the beast. She balances the beast. Don't you know that kid needs his mortality burned off? Give me the next one. Give me the next one. Look, people, what's going on? I'm going to give you the next lines from Aristophanes. They're the first lines that I did the latter half of, right? And this is Carrion speaking. And he says, look, this is what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to mimic. I'm going to copy. Circe, the one who prepares the drugs and the one who gives those companions, who makes them that power. She persuades them. What does she persuade them to do? He says they're in Corinth, right? What does she, Circe, persuade them to do? She persuades them because they're piggies to eat to poop. Estienne score. Score. You know what score is? That's what comes out of her backside. Score. She compels it. She deals it out herself. It says she herself brings it out. She molds it. We're going to follow her ways. You little porklings going, oh, I want it. Mommy, I'm a piggy. That's what it says. Look at the last line. Beste metri horror. We are the little piggies, Mommy. Give us the score. Like a goat. Like a goat. That gets my goat. That gets my goat. It actually gets my goat. For people who missed Penelope last time, I know you missed, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And if you'll notice, we are censoring both Penelope. We're covering up her sin with a cross, but some of you may notice a strange phenomenon at work. Something funny is going on. Our grand artificial intelligence is giving us things. Perhaps it shouldn't. We got to censor some of those as well. We will cover a multitude of our sin with a cross. We will do it. We'll do it. I love you, Penelope. I love you, and I love seeing your sin. I do, because it reminds me of the cross of the Christ who puts that stuff in those little kids' eyes. Yeah, love it. He is no child trafficker. Roman SWAT squad. Whew! Let's go back. Go back. We're almost through it. Then I'm going to call on Neil. Who knows what he's going to say? He told us he would stick by Alice and Hesychius tonight, so it should be good. Should be good. Let's go. He doesn't want to take you out back alley, right? He doesn't want to take you. He doesn't have to worry about that. But you have a few of those people with names in Sardis, right? And what do? They moluno themselves. They moluno their gowns. They moluno their clothing, right? No, you're going to go around with me in white. You're going to go around with me in white because you're worthy, baby, right? Do you see what's going on? There's a thing here between Jesus and those who he has Christed with the stuff. Those kids and he have formed a relationship. He's saying, unless you can enter the kingdom of heaven in this way, you can't at all, people. So drink your snake killer potions. It won't hurt you. Watch this. For the one who overcomes, he's going to be wrapped up in these white hymations. And what? And I won't blot out their name from the book of Zoe. Right? We still have, in Christianity, we still have that anti-monist tendency to reach out to the Eve. We still have a drive to do that, right? Okay, go to the next one. It's underlying the religion. It's underlying the monism. And what now? What's the real, okay, look, we've been talking for a long time about cult stuff. People are starting to understand. More people are getting interested, starting to open up those texts. Wonderful things happening. Gorgeous. We're riding a wave. Right? We're riding a wave. All we have to do is get this out there and you will see the renaissance. People will be born into reality, because that's how it is. When it's not anything that I invented, right? That's why, we're not going to sell it or bottle it or anything like that. This is just stuff that happens in history. Soon as the classics start bubbling up to the surface, the monism loses its strength. And what is this? But I've been talking to you for a long time, and I really haven't shown you what happens when you have that communion, when you enter into that death and resurrection state. What are those things that they're trying to do when that little boy is with Jesus, right? And what are those Christings actually achieving? Well, this says what the Christings achieve. It says, from the throne, pour out. Those of you who have ears to hear, I forgot. Those of you who have ears to hear, hear. He said that about 18 times by now. Okay. From the throne, wink, wink. From the throne, pour out what? Astrapai phonai brontai. Show me what these are. He says, these are the 7 Holy Spirits of God. You mean God has 7 Holy Spirits? I thought he only had 1. And that 1 plus 1 plus the Son make 3 in the Trinity. Did we have happy birthday to Yahoo? Do we still have it? Please, it's coming. Yahoo, when's your birthday? Everybody. Happy birthday to Yahoo. Happy birthday to Yahoo. Happy birthday, Elohim Hashem Jehovah. It was in the 3rd century. Fantastic. What are these things that we experience while we are under the influence of the throne? What's the first one? Astrapai. Astrapai flashes. Visual flashing. Brilliance. Oh. AKA oh. Astrapai. That's the lightning, people. And when they said lightning, they didn't mean thunder. They meant lightning. Fantastic. Remember, we're in a vision cult, right? Give me the next one. Phonai, voices? You mean I'm going to hear voices while I'm under? Yes, you're going to hear voices. You're going to be very confused. You're going to hear voices. You're going to stumble around a lot. Hit the next one. And what else? What is the definition? By the way, what is the classical definition of the voice? Are you ready? Because you heard voice and you think, aha, just like the Victorians, you think, aha, I know. I am right there because their English is my English. No. What is the voice to a Greek? This is Aristotle. He phone. Psophos dis estin in psychu. Oh, nice. What does that mean? It means the voice is a certain noise generated by the psychic. By the what? Yeah, the Greeks are hard to understand sometimes. By the psychic. The part that is psychic being in action, animated. They use the translation animated for this. So what is your voice? It's the sound of your animation. Yeah. Think about that for a minute. All of you people who are studying Greek and exploding your brains on all of these concepts, think about that. Your voice is that sound of your psychic animation. Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it. So that's what you're going to experience. You're going to experience those voices. What else? What's the last thing? AC/DC would like this. You are thunderstruck. Thunderstruck, Bronte. Boom. And now you understand why the mysteries are always compared to lightning. And those who reveal will be covered in the lightning. Oh, God, isn't that gorgeous? We're almost done, people. We're almost done. Watch this. Hit me with the next one. Who are we doing this all for? Now, this is some Greek, and you can guess whether or not this belongs to the Bible or this belongs to something pagan. It's not the Bible, right? The only reason we have the distinction between the Bible and what is not the Bible is to create that barrier. What is Jew or Gentile? What is Christian or non-Christian? What is Taliban or what is defiled? It's a monist dope. Monist dope. Smoke it up. Grab your acid. Get ready to throw it in their faces. You're smoking that religion. Oh, monism. It's the greatest drug ever invented. It's a viral drug. Hit the streets of humanity. So let's see where this is from. Iatros. Iatros on. Iatros on kaimantis hos fasin sophos. The doctor, he's being a doctor and he's being a mantic. He's being a prophet. He is both the great physician and the prophet. He is wise. Do you know who this is talking about? This is talking about the one whose worship you get to through Christing. And it's Apollo. It's Apollo. Yeah. Christianity borrowed? No, Christianity didn't borrow Apollonian and Bacchic worship. It just performed it. Yeah. Through an intermediary who was arrested in a public park at 4 a.m. with a naked boy screaming, I am not a child trafficker. I am not a child trafficker. And that naked boy had a medicated bandage on his private parts, as he should have if he were acting within the rites of the mystery. The reality that is here is being uncovered. It is an antichrist. It will be the antidote to the fervor of the faith. If you show somebody the reality, their false construction in their brain will be dissolved by the power of the real. It's always the mother. It's always the great mother who deals with the Nazis. She's the only one who can get through. Love it. Oh God. Do we have one more? Do we have one more quote? Yep, give me that one. Watch this, people. You'll love this too. You know what's harsh? Love. Love is harsh and it doesn't bring you any sort of virtue when it is too excessive. But when when Aphrodite comes in measure, you know what happens? She is a god, right? And it uses people. The third line down, it calls her a god. It uses theos. People are always giving me a hard time. Well, thea, isn't that the feminine? No. You mean they were calling God to a woman? Yes. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? Wouldn't you love to worship a female? Wouldn't you love? Oh God! Look at it. Let's keep going. What do they say about her? She. Okay. She. Wait. She. Who is Cyprus? She is that beauty, right? She. Go back. She is. What does it say here? The most Eucharistic. You mean the Eucharist, which is sitting here in Greek, Eucharis on that third line down, second to last word? You mean the Eucharist that's right here was first associated with Aphrodite? your bet. And that's why Bacchus always leads us to her. Don't you understand the way of civilization? Yeah. You know, you realize you should be way beyond where you are now. Yeah, it's the way it is. Hit me. We got two more. Hit me with that one. Who has the most beloved zone? Who has that golden zone? That's Calypso and Circe. You want the origin of your mystery here? You're going back to those Bronze Age women who created it, who created the mystery. All of your religion, your Judaism, your Christianity, your Islam, all of them were created by a woman. They are all corruptions of the arts of a woman. You are of satanic origins, all three of you. All three of you, monists. Saturnian, welcome to the real. You can't change it. You can't change it at all. Go to the last one. I wanted to bring these lines for you because you know what happens when she Christs her unavoidable arrow, right? She is Christing it with what? She is Christing it himeroi, with that desire. There is one power in the universe that creates. There is one power that is queen. She is Uranian. She is Aphrodite. And that erotic power is the enemy of everything monist. You're fighting a war. You don't realize it, but you're fighting a war. And this is the tool that can win that war. It's reality. It's just the language. And it's gorgeous. Let's all love Mother Greek. Let's all love Mother Greek. Thank you, Mother Greek, for what you've done to my tiny, tiny brain. Caused it to grow just one little extra connection tonight. Hit my hippocampus and then went up to cortex. Climactic. Did you feel it? Now, let's do the post-climax with Neil. Bring him on. Is he around? I am going to go consult the winds because it is time for me to do that. I'm going to give you the stage. Now, Chewy, shoot him with a laser, with your bowcaster, if he deviates from the classical sources. You understand me? If he deviates. Okay, I'll be back. It's your stage, Neil. Hit these people. There's 837, so be respectful to these people. Love it. Go.
Wow, 837 people. What's going on, y'all? So I have actually pinned to the tip of the chat the source material from which I've gathered today that you can all go and get the link for yourself and look into this stuff. It's all there. Shout out to Hesychius, 5th, 6th century grammarian, living in a time where it's post-apocalyptic world, and its Christianity is now reigning supreme. Theodosius is enacting all these laws, shutting down the pagan temples. I even found out recently, this is all coming in my next video, that there was a decree issued that literally made the Bacchic chants illegal for grape harvesters because they had such a problem with the people who were in charge of grape harvesting were all obviously they're all Bacchants, right? And they're all part of the ritual was to chant "Yao, yao, yay, yo, yay, ya, yes," and that was part of their ritual to make these Bacchic chants while they're harvesting grapes. Theodosius had a decree, and then they had another decree in like the 7th century, and they had to reissue this decree, remind them it is illegal to use the Bacchic chant "Ya." So that's you'll see that in my video. I don't have that exact screenshot, but if you want to pull up this screen right here, this is what led me down this path. So just want to give a quick shout out to Carl Karenyi, because he has in his book, peer reviewed by Princeton from 1976, he says that there is a tablet from Knossos, Crete in Mycenaean Linear B that actually has the name for Dionysus called Yawaka. And then he cites Yakar, the name Sirius, which he says, here's the name of the tablet. You can look it up. I actually will show the tablet in my video. I don't have that here right now. But from Aristophanes, We know this is the name of Bacchus because Aristophanes says Yake, Nuteru, Teletes, Phosphoros, Aster. Kindles the flaming torches, brandishing each one in hand. Yakos, the light-bringing Lucifer, star of the nocturnal mysteries. So he cites, just to get you up to speed of how I even got here, he cites Hesychius right here for his lexicon. So let's go. Let's talk about Hesychius, right? First of all, we have a god named Yasion. You already have that root Ya in there. It's a healer god. Some people equate him with Attis. You know, he's a mystery god. He's invoked the mysteries. There might be some drug references there with bindweed, and maybe something to do with his name. And you'll see this in a second when I get to the material. So we all know this chant. We all know this source. I've brought it up here many times, that the Chaldeans refer to Dionysus as Yao, called Sabaoth or Sabazius, right? So here we go. Right off the bat, the Yoe is a Bacchic shout. This is one of these banned Bacchic shouts that was banned by the church. Any loud shout or cry of men and women, right? Or the sound of the lyre, as Nonus says, is the Yoe. So I just want to, before I continue, I just want to just put me on a full screen for 1 second. I just want to lay something out real quick. The Thyrsus is the magic wand of the Bacchans. Dionysus' staff is called a Thyrsus. The Maenads, if you're a Maenad, if you really want to be a Maenad, and I encourage you to become a Maenad, this is the religion of the future that I would love people to do. I would love to see. Get yourself a Thyrsus. So go out, get yourself any stick from, nice rod, nice perpendicular, straight up and down stick from nature. But add a pine cone to the tip of it. Tie it with a purple ribbon, and then you have yourself a Thyrsus. It's a magic wand. The Thyrsus in the Greek magical papyri mystical rites is the letter Iota. The letter Iota is a magic wand. That's why it's up and down. And it can have an aspiration on it. It can have a rough breathing on it. It can be, you put your dot on top of it, all that, the different forms and different paradigms that we see the Iota with. But when you add a vowel to it, that's the magic. The magic comes when you add a vowel to it. So how you tune that magic wand is how you perform the magic. All right, let me explain now. Let me put my money where my mouth is. Put the source back up if you don't mind. Chewy's always on point. So Yoe is one of these shouts, right? So Iota plus omega gives us Yoe, right? Now this is interesting. Yeios is a Bacchic, it's actually an Apollonian shout. So Yao is a Bacchic shout, but we know that Apollo and Dionysus are two faces. One of them's heavenly, the other one's Chthonian. They're both the princes of Zeus, right? And so Apollo and Dionysus, as Acrobius tells us, are the same god. The Yeios is the Apollonian shout. The Yao is the Bacchic shout. Remember that. It's also the second definition we get. It's a mourning, grievous, as Sophocles says. Yeios boa, a cry of mourning from Euripides. Thank you, Alice, for those sources. I love it. So here's a passage from Plutarch, from the mouth of his teacher Ammonius, talking about Apollo. This is one of his the famous. By the way, if you know about Plato's sage is Socrates. But if you read Plutarch does the same thing, but his sage is Ammonius. So Ammonius is like Socrates, where he writes nothing down. And everything we know about Ammonius is through the dialogues that Plutarch delivers us. Plutarch was the student of Ammonius. So Ammonius tells him Apollo is this Yeios. This is like one of the only few sources where we get that word, Yeios. So these two sources, Sophocles and Euripides, mention this Yeios as a title of Apollo. By the way, Jesus' name starts with Ye in the front of it. So that's something to just keep that in mind. Jesus. It's not Hail Zeus. It's something deeper than that, right? So there's that yay in the front. It has to do with healing. It has to do with drugs. And then as you're going to see, it has to do with purple too. I have all these sources ready to go. So, all right. So Apollo or Plutarch, through the mouth of Ammonius, talks about Apollo being called Ius. All right. What's going on here? So let's talk about this. Eos, a poison from serpents, venom of a mad dog, right? Remember the Kunikos, the cynics, the dogs. That's what that. Look at honey with snakes feed on. So we're already dealing with eos, having to do with drugs, having to do with venoms, having to do with Bacchic chants, mourning rituals. Let's keep going. Arrow. What? Arrows? You're gonna notice a trend. Dipping arrows in poison. Apollo, Dionysus, mourning or rejoicing. Either you're mourning for the death of the god or you're rejoicing for his resurrection. Watch this. We're going to keep going. So that's the arrow. The same exact word can also be a voice or a cry, as Herodotus, Aeschylus, and Euripides all report in their different sources. So it's either an arrow or a cry, right? That's weird. All right. Yea. The word yea by itself is an exclamation of joy or grief. Could be either one. It's a shout. By the way, you notice how in English we do this. When we're happy, we go, yay! Yay! It's like wired in our society to do these things. The ancient Greeks set up this society, and it's all trickled into our culture. We don't even notice it. I love it. So there's that yay exclamation. So I'm going to keep going on the yas. I have a lot more to go, but just off the top, this is from Hesychius's Lexicon, where he says yatai is healing, yatra, feast for healing, whatever that means. Yatros is a healer, a prophet, or an ancient hero, or Apollo, right? Yahweh is sleeps. So you're going to get, this is another thing that we notice, the incubation cults of Magna Graecia. They're big into these ancient mystical Asclepius Apollonian rites of incubation and psychedelics. So you're going to see a lot of sleeping and incubation and resting with the ya root in there. Yaios, bed. Yaon, sleeping, right? Yaon, sleep. They slept or was sleeping. What's going on here? Let's continue with our search. So here we go. We got yea as a voice or shout, or to be awake. Yedones, joy, desire, and happiness. So notice how it has to do with the state of consciousness, whether it's rejoicing or it's mourning. It has to do with that Bacchic mania. Bacchic mania. Everyone should know about Bacchic mania right now. That's the big thing. But if you also notice, it has to do with Yetor means doctor. Yetori means medical. Let's see here. Wrapped, tied, wrote, mourners. So epithets of Apollo. There's that one that we just talked about. Yeios. So let's continue. Now, if we tune that vowel from yay to yo, we get something similar, right? So once again, we see arrows with yoisen, arrows, right? Violet colored, purple colored, yolada, purple. There's the purple again. That's another reoccurring theme that keeps popping up. See this word right here from Callimachus? Yozonos, purple belt. What? All right. And then on the top, Bacchus, Dionysus, the Bacchic rites. All right. So just, this is, you can always come back to this. Look at this other one. Yoedes, black, flowery in appearance, or purple. So you're seeing the commonly throughout all these different yo, yay, ya, yay, and yo, ye, yay, and you. All of these are tuned vowels with the iota on there, and they all have to do with purple, drugs, arrows, or healing, or some sort of shout, right? Let's continue. Now we tune the vowel to the upsilon, And we see something, once again, very similar. Hesychius, which means it's another name for Dionysus. And it's like, without fail, we see piercing, we see purple, we see shouting, we see drugs, we see some sort of desire, some sort of love charm. Look at this one, Eux, which is love charm, the bird. The bird is said to be suitable for enchantments. It is also called Renek. It is said that Aphrodite used it. From the bird, the charms used in love spells are called Yunkes. So that's the name of Dionysus, repurposed as a love charm used by Aphrodite. It's like, wow, it all comes full circle. Let's continue. Bacchus, this is where shit gets crazy. Because remember what Karl Kereni said in his book? He said that the ancient form of Dionysus is Yawakos. And that it actually turns out that according to Liddell Scott, Middle Liddell and LSJ, that Bacchus comes from the root wakos. The digamma gets hardened over time, like a fossil does, and becomes Bacchus. So wakos and yakos is from Yawakos or Wawako. There's a lot going on there. The name of Dionysus is Yawakos, and it's right there to see in Alice. If we continue, then we get that bindweed again, right? And this has to do with healing. Yacione, bindweed, or if you look at the top, yatso, of a violet color. Purple, drugs. Once again, yatso, violet color. Purple, drugs, healing. Here we go with Yos. Yos is either arrow or poison. What is going on? This is so abundant in the sources. The Ya and Yo is always to do with arrows, poison, purple, or chanting or some sort of healing ritual, right? It's without fail. It's all over the sources. I have so many of these, by the way. Yasion is the mortal that's loved by Demeter. Also, it's also the word for bindweed or purple color. Here we go again. Yasis, healing, right? Purple color, that's the same word, yatso. So here we go. Healing is yasis or yaomai. There's that yao. Literally, yao is in there. Yatso, purple color, right? Yatso also can mean to cry aloud. So it's either a drug, it's either a shout, or it's purple, or an arrow or something, right? Here we go again. Yatso, violet color. Yasis, healing. Again, there's Yasion, or also called Yasius, is the secret mystery. He's one of the twins of the divine twins, the Dioscorides, the Dioscori. It's Yasion and Triptolemus are the two twins. Here we go. So, all right, I showed these already, and I just want to show something. One more thing I want to show. So, you mentioned Yatra, and if we look at, all right, we look at the Yos. We already went through those. If we look at the Yas, we get the healing and stuff like that. But it's also Yay. Here's another one. Yay, voice, shout, joy, desire, fruits, purple. See that word right there? Yayness, purple. Once again, this is a totally different vowel now. So we've gone through Ya, we've gone through Yo, we've gone through Iota epsilon. Now we've gone through Iota upsilon, and now we're on the fifth vowel, Iota eta, which is the same exact definitions pull up again. Doctor, purple, fruits, joy, desire, shouting, all the same motifs are popping up with the eta vowel, right? Oh, and before I go on to my last, just wanted to show something about the lace stays real quick. The word lace by itself means booty or spoil. So you understand that lace stays literally does mean trafficker. I didn't even know how right Amon was until I found out that lace by itself just means booty or spoil. So if you say I'm a lace stays, you're saying I'm a trafficker of booty or spoils. It's actually like, pirate and buccaneer is fine, but like to literally break down the word, what it actually literally means, it's booty, spoil, trafficker. All right. So last thing I want to share And this is fascinating stuff. Those vowel tunes with the Iota, it's like a magic wand. I'm telling you, if you're a Maenad out there, get yourself a Thyrsus staff, tie a pine cone to the top, and then put a purple ribbon on there, and just carry that around. That's your magic wand, baby. Got to have it. All right, last but not least, this is also from Hesychius. And I just want to show something real quick. This is from Hesychius. This is the Iatros. You mentioned Iatros as you were speaking about Revelation, the apocalypse. By the way, apocalypse is a common word in the Orphic fragments. So if you read, I'll give you a prime example. One of the oldest books in the world that was found in Macedonia. It's called the shit, I can't remember the name. It's the papyrus that they found in Macedonia. It's an Orphic papyrus. Someone in the comments is going to say what it is, and I'm not looking at the comments, but thank you for whoever does. You guys all know this stuff. But there is there's a manuscript that was discovered in Macedonia in like the 1960s or something. I don't know. But it's dated to like the 5th, 6th century BCE at the time of Philip of Macedon. And it's attributed to Orpheus. It's an Orphic theogony. And like the word apocalypse shows up in that text like 50 times about Orpheus revealing. Orpheus is revealing. He's apocalypsing Orpheus, and it calls him the theologian. So the word theologian and apocalypse are from the Orphic text. Apocalyptic literature, for some reason, gets, oh, that's Jewish. Apocalyptic literature is Jewish. Actually, no, before it was Jewish, it was Orphic. And by the way, the Alexandrian Jews in the 3rd century admit this. You know, just read their own stuff. Read Aristobulus. Read those guys from Alexandria writing in Greek, talking about Orpheus as one of their own prophets. The word samoi means to play with the harp. Anyways, Iatros is a epithet of Apollo. Just wanted to throw that out there. So this is all from Hesychius's Lexicon, and he goes through all these words in the Iota section, and you can see the Iota alpha is filled with all of these purple drug arrow shouts. There's so many of them. Like Ya by itself, can mean purple colored flowers. Yakar is the Kuan Aster, the dog star, baby. The dog star. That's also a title for Isis, too, by the way. Yakton, crown. He sleeps, twisted. A flower, right? Yeah. I'm just going to run through these real quick, and then I'm done. Yanomai, rejoice. Yanatai, angry, right? Yakes, to shout. Yakitsai, shouts. Yakon, epithet of Dionysus, lament, right? Mourning. Let's see. We got more shouts. We got more purple drugs, right? We got rejoicing. We got you guys get the point by now. By the way, I pinned on the top of the chat. If you want to look through these yourself, it's in the original Greek from Hesychius. I pinned it to the top. It'd actually be a good exercise for people to go through that and try to translate them. Plug those words into Perseus Tufts one by one. Get your grammar up. That's what I've been doing. That's how I made this list right here. I've been going through them one by one and plugging them into this is how I got this list that you're looking at right now. Every single one of these words I plugged into Perseus Tufts and found out what it meant. And it's from Hesychius's lexicon. So once again, shouting. You're going to see shouting a lot. It doesn't matter if it's iota plus alpha. Doesn't matter if it's iota plus eta. Doesn't matter if it's iota plus epsilon. It doesn't even matter if it's iota plus omicron or iota plus omega. Iota plus any vowel. You're going to get a whole list of words that have to do with medical drug stuff, purple, healing, or some sort, or like venoms or something, or an arrow. Sometimes you get the quiver, the arrow or the quiver. Sometimes you get epithet of Dionysus. Sometimes you get epithet of Apollo. Sometimes you get shouting, or sometimes you get mourning. But those those are common throughout the entire lexicon of Greek. Iota plus any vowel is these secret mystery words. It's fascinating stuff. So, look, by the way, this one I wanted to talk about real quick. Iano kredemos. Iano kredemos. Wait, I'm sorry. Iano kredemnos. A poison applied to the headband. Isn't that something? So when you put that word poison with kredemnos, it becomes poison applied to a headband. So, and by the way, there's that cray. I don't know if that has something to do with Christos, but I've noticed to apply it, you get the cray in there. Alma, what do you think about that?
I would say because it's a he on the Chrio side, I would say no, but don't. That's a guess, right? I don't like guessing. Ooh, brilliant job. Keep going, man. I'm sitting here like eating my popcorn. Gorgeous.
Well, that's what so I can go through the rest of this list. I think there's only a few more anyway. Yeah, there's only a few more. Here. Yeah, let me share this again just to finish this off, and then that's just to show you what else is in here. There's a lot to do with healing, therapies. So yatui therapies, right? Healing, and then like even fees for treatment. So I'm guessing that this comes out of the Parmenidean Orphic magic Asclepian schools of healers. You understand what I'm saying? Because there was probably some sort of fee for getting your loved one in there. I don't know, whatever. I'm just guessing. I have no idea where that word fees for treatment, iatra. And then this one right here, iatroi, is nymphs called around Elis and healing. So it's like you can get two completely foreign concepts that mean the same thing, and it's either healing, drugs, or some sort of purple drug, or some sort of shout. I mean, healing, purple drugs, or some sort of shout. So I don't know. All I'm doing is I'm looking at the sources. I'm not even giving you my own thoughts. I'm literally just saying, this is what the sources say. There's a lot of purple here. There's a lot of drugs here. There's a lot of shouts here. There's a lot of cultic rituals here. A lot of Dionysus, a lot of Apollo. And yeah, what do you guys all think about this?
Fantastic. I think it's fantastic. Look at what you're doing though. I want to refocus people and say, look at what Neil is doing. He's performing a linguistic analysis, and it's typical classical philology. That's why classical philology is a science, and it's very reliable. Because it's just basic. Look, he said to you, I'm just giving you the sources and telling you what those things meant. But look at the thing special that he's doing. I want you to take note. He's using Hesychius, who is that ancient Greek grammarian. So, and Hesychius is using a source that's earlier. He actually gets traced back to a Hellenistic source. I forget what his name is, Aristarchus or something like that. And that guy is writing a lexicon of unusual, or what he calls this, poetic. He says poetic words.
So Hesychius cites quite a few sources. One of them is Diogenes from the time of Hadrian. Aristarchus of Samothrace, the one you mentioned, is one of the big ones. Apion, Heliodorus, and another source named Amerias. So Hesychius has got all these sources of grammar, and he's putting together a bigger source of grammar. And this is how we get Alice today. Alice is based on what Hesychius started, and that's all it is. It's just building. It's just more gnosis building upon more gnosis.
Let me ask you this, Neil. So, two questions. Why do you think it is that Greek has grammarians and we don't have any Hebrew grammarians? Why don't we have any Hebrew grammarians left? What's going on?
That I don't know, but you brought this up. Now I got to go here because people say that Yahweh is a native god and they know it's not from Ugarit. He's not a Canaanite god. Everyone knows this. This is not a hot take. in the Ugaritic text, which is the pre-Hebrew sources of Canaan, right? Everyone's like, Ugaritic. You got El, you got Asherah, you got Baal, and you got other gods there too, right? There's no Yahweh in any of the Ugaritic sources. So it's like, where did Yahweh come from? So this is the big leading theory, right? I know you hate theories, right? But just let me play this. You're going to love this. You're going to love this, I promise. The leading theory is that he comes from the Midianites down in the south. All right. Why do they say that? Well, they found some archaeology of this name, Yao, down in Egypt, and that these sources from Egypt say he comes from the Midianites. Sure, fine. Let's check out the Midianites. Now, we don't know much about the Midianites, but we have dug up their city, their major city, Midian, and guess what we found out about Midian? I got a screen that I'd like to share. So Midian, this is from the encyclopedia. Midianite pottery, also called Kuria painted pottery, is found in numerous sites stretching from the southern Levant, Saudi Arabia, Hejaz, blah, 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 blah. The pottery is polychrome style, and it dates as early as the 13th century BC. By the way, that's the exact same time as that Knossos tablet that mentions Yahweh. Exact same century. Ready for this? Its many geometric human and animal motifs are painted in brown and dark reds on pinkish tan slips. Midianite pottery is found in its largest quantities in metallurgical sites in the southern Levant, especially Timna. Because of the Mycenaean motifs on Midianite pottery, some scholars, including George Mendenhall, Pete Parr, and Ben Rothenberg, have suggested the Midianites were originally sea peoples who migrated from the Aegean and imposed themselves on a pre-existing Semitic stratum. Yeah. The archaeology even points to Yahweh coming from the Aegean. It's Dionysus.
Don't you love that Tacitus can be right after so many years?
He called it. He said they came from Crete. And everyone was like, that's not right. Well, the archaeology is saying that he might be onto something. And by the way, the fact that Yahweh is not mentioned in any of the Ugaritic sources, where does he has to come from somewhere. And if we have Yah and Yeh and Yo all over the Greek, and all of a sudden this new god comes up from the Midianites and takes over the cults of Israel, becomes this new amazing god, and all over the Old Testament there's vine and grape motifs everywhere, golden satyrs in the Temple of Solomon, grapevines everywhere. Israel is called a vine. It's very Dionysian. Herodotus even says, when I went there to do my studies, the only two gods they worship was Dionysus and Aphrodite.
It's monist, Neil. It's Yahweh is the monist response to Bacchic worship. Right. And I'm not the only one who talks like that. Plutarch was talking like that too. It's just as Akhenaten split off and from the polytheistic origin and made himself the all, right? Just in that same monist tendency, that's what Yahoo is, right? Jehovah is a monist response to a Bacchic Saturnian religion. Yeah, love it. In the Bronze Age.
You know who else says that too? Is Celsus in the 2nd century. Celsus says that this religion he says the Jewish religion is not new or something that's like special. It broke off from the ancient rites, and he says, I think the word he uses was he says something along the lines of it became infected, or I think he uses a different word than that. But he basically says they corrupted. He says it's a corruption of the ancient rites. So I'm not surprised to find the same name of Dionysus found in this god as this, and as you said, it becomes more of a central leading figure. We all know the Hypsisterians are. It's nothing new to Greeks. Monism. The Pythagoreans were doing that shit all the time. They're arguing back and forth between, do we like Homer? Do we not like Homer? This ain't new. This isn't just happening in Israel. It just happens that in Israel, that shit really takes root. That those ideas really take root.
And there's nothing wrong with seeing that history for what it was. It doesn't. It's only the theology that breaks the back of that camel. You know what I mean? It's the theology that says this must be the first divinity and it must be the creation story. And we got so many years and our history is going to be that creation story. It's only that group that that has those monist, that's drawn to monism, that will turn away. When you're drawn to monism, your justice is not your highest standard, right? Your democracy is only there because of these gods like justice and nemesis, right? And all the court of the Athenians, it's all has to do with that appeasement of the Furies, right? Very, oh God, it's all feminine, gorgeous, gorgiosity. I love it.
The Chaldean oracles are spot on. They call the Phoenicians had the name of the Dionysus as Iao, and couple that with what they're saying, like Plutarch talks about their this is another one, the Sukkot festival. It's one of the holiest weeks. It's a week. It's a festival it's a festival of harvest at the end of the fall, and it's happens at the exact same week as the Thesmophoria, the lawgiver festival of Dionysus and Demeter. And it's a harvest festival, happens at the exact same time of the year. And you know what they do? And Plutarch writes all about this in his questions of Moralia. He says he calls it a Thesmophoria because they call it a feast of booths or Sukkot or tabernacle festival. And at this festival, they do exactly what the Eleusinians do. They garnish their tables with tabernacles and fruits, and they light candles and they drink wine. And it's basically a full-blown Dionysian wine harvest festival. They call it and another thing, Plutarch points this out too. Would you know that they have 4 holy plants that they carry? 2 of them are oh shit, what is it? It's palm trees, and let me just look this up real quick. Palm trees, and I have it right here.
Vine? Is it Kison? Is it that ivy vine?
The vine is on the table, but they carry myrtle and palm in their hands into the temple. Did you know that
myrtle is for Aphrodite?
The Thesmophoria, they carry palm trees and myrtle branches into the temple, exactly the same way as Sukkot. So as Celsus says, Celsus is so smart, by the way. Read Celsus's Arguments Against Christianity. That book, I was a Christian when I read that book. It messed me up. I was like, no way, this guy's crushing it. He says that these rites are they really are the ancient mystical rites, but they're corrupted. He said they've been deeply corrupted for greed and all this. He goes into this whole thing, but he's right. You're looking at when you're looking at Judeo-Christianity in the 2nd century BC, 1st century, and so forth, when Christianity comes out of it. Yahwism, I think, is the best correct term to use. You're looking at the ancient rites corrupted. You're looking at a corruption of the ancient mystical rites that you find in Eleusis, that you find in Samothrace, that you find in Phrygia, the Phrygian mysteries. You're just finding a corrupted version, a tweaked, a sort of copyrighted version, right? You know how you got Nike, and then you go to the store down the street and they got the fake Nikes. They're like, you could tell it looks like Nike, but you're like, these are some cheap ass shoes right here. That's what Yahwism is, dude. It's the corrupted rites. That's what it is. I'm just being real.
Yeah. It's this. You're being history. That's what you're doing. Is you're looking at the history, and that is what the Bacchic power is meant to do. It's meant to cause you to look into that mirror. Once you can see yourself, then the Apollonian temple thing of know yourself. That makes sense. And by the way, I know a little something about those shouts. Yeah, I love those. I love that. No, I gotta say, Neil, you put together an absolutely gorgeous linguistic analysis. You even took us through Hesychius, but you took us as far back as the Mycenaean Greek, which is where we get that Dionysos in the first place. So brilliant job. I can't think of, woo, you blew it out of the sky. That's like A+ work. You know
I
what I
wanted,
mean?
I wanted to bring that to your last one because you were talking about the name Jesus in the last episode. For some reason, I passed out like an hour before you went live, and I woke up at 2 a.m. I was pissed. I was like, "Fuck, I missed it! Shit!"
Did you feel the swat? Because I gave you a swat on your buttocks.
Yeah, I got it.
Because I said he's exhausted. He's probably falling asleep, right? Because you're working on your stuff like round the clock, right? Neil will text me.
I don't even have it bedtime. I'm just up until my body says go to sleep, and then I'm just, it could be 4 a.m, it could be 6 p.m, it could be 2 p.m, it could be 11 a.m. It doesn't matter. Whenever my body says enough,
it's
enough researching shit, dude. I have a whole pile of books over here right now. You'd laugh if you saw it.
It's dope. And I wake up in the mornings and I've got 12 texts from Neil, and you can just go through them and see that you can just track the sources that he was hitting, right? Isn't it true, Neil, that when you get into it and you start seeing the reality in the Greek, you just can't, I don't know, you just get sucked in. And
here's the crazy part. The name Jesus has that shout in there. It's in the name. And here's another thing. People always say this all the time. They go, "This is the telltale sign if something's mythology." Is when it's, for example, let's look at Aesop's fables. In Aesop's fables, the character's name has to do with what the person's doing. So let's say the guy's name is Sleepy, and he's sleeping a lot in the myth. Then it's not a real person. It's a fable. Jesus' name, Jesus, and he's out there healing people, applying drugs to people's eyes, and his name is Jesus?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, his name, that's what, I'm so glad you see that, because that's exactly how frustrating it is to tell anybody. Jesus Christos is like drug man drugger, right? I mean, you can't get worse than that. You can touch this guy. Notice, people, Neil, for a long time, they've been like, the woman with the issue of blood just touched Jesus' clothing. She was like, it was a miracle. You know what I mean? You saw tonight that there was Greek for taking a drug and putting it into, someone like a priest's headband.
Headband, right.
What is that healer prophet? Well, if you take that healer prophet's headband and suck on it, you're going to start seeing stuff.
And it had that KRE root in there. I'm just, maybe something going on there. But you know what? Look, I know that Jesus was a fairly common name of people in the first. Jason is another one. Yason, Jesus, Yeshua. There's a lot of these. I'm not saying these didn't exist, but I'm saying what they wrote about him later is not historic. Like, there's probably a little bit of historical shit in there. Probably, I actually think there's fairly good amount of historical shit. I think he was going around with his crew, performing all these rites. I think there's historical truths there, but at the end of the day, the guy's name is Jesus, and he's out there healing people. You got to sit there and say, this is like Superman now. Superman being super. You know what I mean? This is like, totally. At some point, you got to say, all right, let's separate the myth from the reality here.
Totally. And for those of you, since you just mentioned Superman, I'm going to have to say, Chewie demands that Henry Cavill reach out to her. She demands it. Just wanted to add that in. Please, Henry, she's holding me hostage. Henry, if there's any way I can get this to you, she's holding me hostage. Please, Chewie, please, Henry, reach out. Okay, good. Now she'll leave me alone. Thanks, Chewie.
You have the shout on your chest. Can you tell us about that or show us that? There it is. Yay.
It's exactly what you were talking about, and it's pion. Now I chose you will see the EA pion. You see that a lot in the text, but I found one text that was Ionian, and it used the longer vowel in the end. It was pion. It went ahead and used the omega, and I thought that takes guts. That takes guts to use that omega, and so I liked it. And it's a special shout. It is. Remember how they have? I was saying tonight. I don't know if you caught it, Neil, but I was saying you have pionic drugs, right? Well, that shout that is a part of taking those drugs is that victory, that solar. It actually is a solar victory. That Apollo, the Lucifer, who brings that light. Yeah. So I love it. Yeah.
And then you get, so that's funny because Apollo is called Lucifer, the day star. the sun, the day star. But Dionysus, in that one etymology that Hesychius gives, Yakar, is the dawn star. So there's the day star and the dawn star, but they're both phosphorus. They're both Lucifer. There's just two different Lucifers. One of them's the dawn star, the other one's the day star. Isn't that crazy? I love it. I love it.
Gorgeous, man. It's gorgeousness and gorgiosity. Neil, I want to thank you for coming tonight, and I want to thank all of the 900 some people that ended up giving us a full hour and 36 minutes of their time. I believe so. I don't know. Probably Neil thinks so as well, but I hope that you have found things that justify that hour and a half of your life, that you can say, oh, this is good stuff, man. This is worth it. I think you can.
I was watching so I'm getting a lot of comments on my older videos. People are going back and watching you and I and our discussions. And the first video that we did, you just started your channel, and I like popped up on the screen, and I was like, you guys all got to subscribe to, I think you had like 300 subscribers. And I was like, and I saw that screenshot, and I was like, whoa, it was only like 2 years ago at the most. Exploded. And I knew it. I knew I could. People gave me shit for associating with you. They still do, by the way. People still do. Like, that guy's crazy. What are you doing? That guy's nuts. And I was like, just watch. This guy's going to explode. Because people don't really give a shit about the whole academic, gotta be careful about this, gotta be careful. It's important to note this it might not be true. All that careful shit, no one cares. Tell us what you think. Tell us what the sources say. You know, people just want to hide the sources because they're like, well, if we show them this source, it might confuse them. They might get the wrong impression. What's up with that shit? The whole guarding the sources because it's going to confuse people. Oh my God, I hate that, by the way.
Let's hear, as Aristophanes said, let's hear your voice from your gaping hole. And yeah, that's how we are, man. We bring you those sources. And it's an honor, Neil, to work with you. And, you know, we have some kind of current, some kind of wave with us. And we need to ride that to the friggin' Renaissance. And all these contributions, everybody out there is contributing to Lady Babylon. There's a Discord, and people are asking me, how do I get reading lists? How do I do this? We've got to post that Discord that you can go to and see the museum. All of these sources that we're working with, right? Those belong to everybody. So I appreciate your time tonight, Neil, and I appreciate everybody at Lady Babylon. And I'll leave us off with a little bit of Teddy bass and say, Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Hail
My
Satan.
girl's got the shit that will jack you up and knock you on your hiney. Time to say goodnighty. All of my love burning up. Lavender hot stuff in this thing. Medea's kiss, click, bang. Hot purple barbaroos. Burning up my love for you. Wandering star, rolling with the sword. Going door to door, saving all the children. Hot purple living, blazing up all my love. Inhale deep, take 2 puffs, just a touch, not too much. Should get on top of you with a little push. 3 days late, what happened to your face? Your shit went flush. Gonna rub a duck, latex purple. That girl work you, hot purple gasoline. Medea belly dancing in the moonshine. Chalice glowing, Rayman Zeus, operator smooth.
Hot fire gasolina, Medea medicina. Hot fire gasoline, Hail Satan come to see ya. Hot fire gasolina, Medea medicina. Hot fire gasoline, Hail Satan come to see ya.